Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to be explaining you how to do a concrete material requirement calculation in Revit. So here you can see I have already done one. Okay, so here you can see it's my title. Okay, so I have material name, material volume, and required cement, sand and aggregate. So everything with the meter cube of volume and a number of bags and cubic feet for sand requirement and aggregate requirement. So I'm going to be explaining you how I did this schedule. So here I'm considering that all the concrete elements, so they are going to be M20 grade concrete. So with a different grade, so we are going to be seeing a next video. So I'm going to be explaining you here how to calculate concrete requirement for M20. Usually what we do to create a concrete schedule, usually we'll be checking online how to create a concrete schedule. So here, so I have searched for a formulation. I found a very good web page, Civil R&D. Okay, here you can read all of the calculations. Finally, what do we need per cubic meter? So what is the quantity? That's what I need. So from there we can calculate from a Revit volume. Okay, so here I have taken the schedule from here. Okay, it's a table M20, cement going to be 410 kg, sand going to be 15.01 cubic feet, and aggregate 30.16 cubic feet. Even here I want it with a bag, so 8.2 bags, 15.01 and 30.16. so I have taken only one grade. Okay, so in Revit, if you go to Revit, so let's see how to create a first schedule. So let's go to view and go to schedule and take material takeoff. So here you can see, in case if you wanted to calculate for an entire project, and then you can keep it as multi-category. So I'm keeping it as multi-category so that I will know, so all the total quantity I can find. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. So I'm creating a new schedule for you. Okay, so how to start? Go to view, go to schedules, take material takeoff, and then select a multi-category and say okay. So here what all you need any one material volume or material name, or any one, you need at least one, because you cannot ignore in the material schedule. Okay, keep it up. Okay, and I want to mention the label. I want to mention the level and the category. So if it's a concrete or a beam or slab, I need to know. So I'm going to add a category also, category. Okay, let's keep this up, and I have created one parameter called associated level. It's a text parameter. So here you can see I can go and edit. So associated level, it's a text parameter. So I have added to everything. Supposed to be all the structural elements supposed to get added. Okay, so for example here, so analytical we don't need. Okay, so mostly staircase, structural framing, structural foundation, structural connection, though it is there, that's okay, but we should not miss anything, any concrete element we should not miss. So you can check here, or you can select everything and say okay. So associated level I have created. To create a new parameter, so you have to click here, new parameter, and here you can select project parameter and say associated level. Okay, and then keep it as instant and check all. Okay, check everything all. Okay, so here only structure is there. Okay, that's fine. Check everything and keep this parameter discipline, let it be common, and the parameter should be text, and value can vary by group instance, and say okay. So if you have not created one, then you can create one. So I'm going to say associated level 1 parameter, and I'm going to say okay. So here it is added. So that's how I have added my associated level parameter, and then say okay. So initially what do you get in the schedule? It is just this much. So from here we are going to work. Okay, so from here we are going to work to add our calculations. Okay, so I'm going to show you how. So to keep this easy, so associated level I have created, but this column you can see it is blank now. Why? Because it's just a text parameter, but the value we are supposed to add. So what I have done, so I have selected everything here, and and here you can see associated level 1. Here I have to mention foundation. Let's add 00 foundation. So here you can see my first parameter I have created associated level, and I have mentioned the same name. So I'm doing it for you. Okay, so this is how you can select each and every element, and you can mention the level. So as I have mentioned already, associated level, I'm going to use the same parameter here. So I'm going to my schedule, multi-category takeoff, and here I'm going to, in the properties, here I am going to select field, and in the field I'm going to remove or delete this parameter, because I already have an associated level parameter here. I'm going to add it, and I'm going to say okay. So here I have selected each and every element, and I have mentioned what level it is, so that I can sort this table by level. Okay, that's what I have done. So let's do a sorting. Okay, so here go to field, and then say go to filter, and just first sort by material name equals, I just want concrete. What is it? Door. Okay, we have a test wall also. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to take category does not equal door, because door is actually wood. Okay, so I'm going to filter, so filter it out, so the door will not be mentioned here. So I'm going to say okay. Okay, so the doors are not there, then whatever else is there, it is concrete. Okay, and I'm going to say again field, I'm going to sorting and grouping. Here I'm going to sort by associated level, and I'm going to mention a header and say okay. So here you can see, so we have an associated level foundation, and whichever is coming under foundation, so we have it here. So what do I need? I don't want to read each and every row. So what do I need? I want to read, if it's a foundation, I just want to read only foundation in one row. So what am I going to do? I'm going to sort this again with the category. Okay, and I'm going to say okay. So one thing I forgot, in the sorting and grouping, after mentioning here, you have to uncheck itemize every instance. So here you can see, now you have simplified your schedule. So you have the level wise, your category, and the quantity. Here you can see a lot of them are varies. This is happening because so you have not activated calculation. So let's go to formatting and then select material volume, and here you have to mention calculate totals and say OK. Well, so now this is got calculated, but we don't have a grand total. So let's go to the settings again, material takeoff properties. I'm going to sorting and grouping, and I'm going to say title and total. Let's add a footer here, so let's see what it is. Okay, here you can see in the bottom you can see grand total. So material volume, I have a total. So I want to have a total for each and every level. So then I have to go to sorting and grouping, and here you mention footer, and here in the footer you select title and totals. Okay, so this title really I don't need. Okay, so I'm going to remove title. Sorting and grouping, footer, here calculate only totals, and I'm going to say OK. So yes, so now you can see for foundation I have structural foundation, I can see the material volume, and foundation to ground level, so I have a volume, ground floor I have a volume. So here something else is happening here, right? So each and every category I have a total. So let's remove that. So let's remove. Okay, but for material volume each level I need. How I did for last one? Go to edit and check here. So I have header, footer and totals only, and here totals I have. So I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to the current schedule. Here I'm going to do the same, formatting, sorting and grouping, associated level, and category. Oh, here I should mention header and footer, not here. Okay, header and footer, and say totals only, and say OK. Yes, I got it. So I have my material volume. So let's keep this row to the right side. So OK, and only the title I want it in the center. Okay, so now so I have my level mentioned here, so this column I can hide, select and hide. Okay, so now I'm going to create the required cement column, required aggregate, required sand column. So again I'm going to field and select here, and here you have to create a new calculated parameter. So this is for new parameter, and the below one for add calculated parameter. The second one is for combining parameter, that one we'll see in the next video. So here I'm going to add only calculated parameter. So I'm going to say, so I'm clicking here, so I'm getting the pop-up window. Okay, this one, and I'm going to name it as required cement till here. So we know required cement from the website, it is 8.2 bags per cubic meter. So here let's read it clearly. So here you can see it's a calculation, weight of cement required for 1 cubic meter. So the weight is 410 kg, and 410 kg divided by 50 kg per bag, it is 8.2 bags. I'm going to Revit, and here I'm going to add my formula. So how to add formula? Go to click here, add calculated parameter, and say name it required cement. Okay, discipline keep it as common, and parameter take number. Okay, so here before you add formula, open a bracket and then say material volume, because we are going to calculate from material volume, and divided by 1, just to neutralize the unit, and say OK and select the same and go to edit. Here you can see this is material volume by 1 meter cube, so I'll multiply the volume by 8.2 bags, and I'm going to say OK. So here you can see some of the cells are showing varies. So this is happening because we have not activated calculation of total for this column. So I'm going to field, click on formatting, select required estimate, and here you have to select calculate totals and say OK. So now you can see the values, but they are coming with a lot of decimal places. So I'm going to select the column and going to format unit, and here uncheck, and here you say fixed, and select two decimal places and use digital grouping. Digital grouping means so after the decimal, if any number is 5, then 1 will be added to the next digit. So that's a rule, and I'm going to say OK. Yes, here you can see now, and I'm going to keep it to the right. Okay, so here you can see all the calculations now. Okay, so here in the last you can see I have a test level with some material, and the volume is 1 meter cube, and the required bag is 8.2. This is for a test I have taken. So you can also do your test by adding a 1 cubic meter volume of any wall. Okay, and I have selected and added an associated level of test. I have just added a test word here. So in the schedule I can see, and I can check my calculation. 8.2, it is showing 8.2, then it is right. Let's add next column. So I'm going to click field again, and here you can add calculated parameter, and here I'm going to add sand required. Okay, so I'm going to say CFT is a unit, cubic feet, common number, and the formula material volume divided by 1, and add open bracket and close bracket and say OK, and go here again, edit, and multiply by what volume. So here you can see, let's go to the table, 15.01 cubic feet sand. I'm going to Revit, I'm going to add the value 15.01 cubic feet, and I'm going to say OK. Let's say OK again. So here you can see again I'm seeing lots of various value. I'm going to select the column. Here I can't change. Let's go to field and select formatting, select sand required. Here you have to select calculated total and say OK. To solve the decimal places, go to format unit, and here select fixed and keep it to 2 decimal places, and use digit grouping and keep it to the right alignment. Yes, so I can see, and here in the test wall, so I can see the value 15.01. Okay, let's add another column, add parameter. Okay, calculated value, so required aggregate common number, let's add a value, volume divided by 1 just to solve the parameter. Okay, and say okay, and then select edit. Here multiply with what is the value. Go to the web page. Here you can see M20 30.16 cubic feet of aggregate, 30.16. So here you can add 30.16 cubic feet. So you don't have to type a cubic feet, okay, just type the number because we are calculating as number. And I'm going to say okay. The required aggregate, I'm going to say okay. And here you can see various, you know why it is happening. Go to field, select formatting, select required aggregate and activate total and say okay. And to solve the decimal places, go to format unit and uncheck and select fixed, keep 2 decimal and use digital grouping and say okay, and keep it to the right side. Right, so I can see all the values now. So now I can keep the schedule in another sheet. So I'm going to close the schedule. Okay, so I'm going to any sheet. So this is my first schedule. I'm going to keep my second schedule here and we'll see whatever I'm missing. So let's just keep it just here, and why do I have okay, so too much lengthy schedule. So now I think this is fine. Something is different, right? So here what I have done, so I've added a background shading and the text size is 5. Here the text size is 4, and I have added shade. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Select the schedule, double click, so go here, select, and here shading, give a shade and say okay, and select the same and go to font style and select any color you want. So the text is going to be bold, the size will be 5 and the color will be red, and say close. Here you can see the difference. Let's add shading here also. So here I can see the outer border line. Here in my latest schedule I don't have the outer border. To add outer border, so click on the field and then go to appearance. So here you can see grid lines, it is checked, outline also check. And so if you want to add some shade for the rows, value rows, you can add here. First row strip, second row strip color. So any one strip you can do and any shade you can take. Okay, and I'm going to say okay. So you can see the shade. Let's add shade here also for the title. I'm going to add shade. I'm going to select here, let's reduce little bit and say close. So now you can see title, it is shaded. So the size for this row, so we have not changed. Let's select all the cell and go to font and keep it as 4, and I'm going to keep a bold. I'm going to say okay, okay, let's close. So here what I've done, I have kept everything to the center. So here also I should do the same, and here you can see the D is coming below. So you have to select and drag a little bit, select and drag a little bit, select and drag a little bit. Now we should keep it to the center. So I'm going to select all the title and alignment, center, middle, and close. Now it looks better. So but there is a small difference. Why? What is it? Okay, so only the number of rows, it should be equal, the height should be equal, right? Yes, it is equal. Yes, it is equal. So I have not added cement required number of bags. So to add the text, here you can see cement required number of bags. So here what you should do, just select, double click, and then here write no dot of bags, and here you should take enter so that it will go to the next line. So here before CFT click enter, and here also you can type CFT. So before CFT you have to click enter and close. So now you can see the difference. Now keep this aligned. Yes, so it looks mostly same. So here the title is description, here it is category. So you can have any name in the title. So you can click here and change the title. You can say item. Okay, so most of the bill have item. Okay, and enter. So first letter is capital A. Okay, and say close. So this is how you can calculate your schedule, concrete schedule. Okay, so here I have a test wall. This is what we should check. So test wall, default wall 1 cubic meter, 8.2 kgs and 15.01 cubic feet, 30.16 cubic feet of aggregate. So here it is sand 15.01, this is right. And so every calculation we are doing it with the volume of meter cube. So you should make sure that this volume is correct so that you won't make any mistakes. Okay, you should take care of the unit, and then so draw only one test element. This is my test element. After finding the right calculation, you can actually delete from the project. Okay, so here you can see I have a test wall. Okay, this is the values, these are the values. Okay, I'm going to 3D, I'm going to delete. So now this will be deleted from the schedule also. That's all for the day. So you can also try. So here we have considered that the total building going to be made up of M20. So in the next video I'm going to show you with the mixed grade. So keep watching my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.